Hey there, friends. Before I get started with the process video, I wanted to give some quick thank yous and shout outs to some beautiful, beautiful souls out there on YouTube that have referenced me in a video, or they've put my YouTube channel address in their description. And so I just wanted to say a big thank you, and I totally appreciate all the love that you've shown me. So the first one is Elizabeth, and her channel is Never Hopeless by Elizabeth. And when I sent her a comment to tell her thank you for the shout out, she had this cool little phrase. She said, "I truly believe that sharing is caring." And I thought that was a really cool thing. So if you don't know Elizabeth, go check her out on Never Hopeless by Elizabeth. The next one is Sugar, which she has changed the name of her channel. It's actually Liz Drake now. I love her funky, quirky realness. She is just an awesome, awesome person. Just to listen to her talk as she's going through her journaling process is pretty cool. Then there is the beautiful Nazi from Amity Bloom. If you've never watched her Q&A video where she talks about how she got her name, just the story of kind of her family and stuff, you need to check that out. That is a really cool video, and she is just a beautiful, beautiful soul. Then there is Tiffy Butter, and her channel is called Tiffy Butter, and I could just sit there and listen to her voice. She has just the most beautiful, serene, peaceful voice, and she makes amazing journals. So if you haven't checked out Tiffy Butter, go ahead and check her out. Then Shannon Green, and her channel is Shannon Green, and her sense of humor is just, I love it. It is just like this dry, matter-of-fact sense of humor, and so she's another one that I just like listening to her stories as she's journaling. And then of course the ever beautiful Yoey from the Johanna Clough channel, and I think on Instagram she is Little Bendy. I think she has this on Instagram, but she also has Little Bendy. She is just amazing. Most of you guys, I'm sure, already know her. The stuff she makes is just, I feel like we're kindred souls. Like she's just me, a younger version, because we just have the same ideas and same thoughts. When she scrapbooks about her kids and stuff, it's like stuff that I would scrapbook when I was her age. She's just an amazing person, and I appreciate all the love that she has sent to me. So if you haven't checked any of these people out, please do. I will list all of their channels in the description below. Thanks, and now on to the process.
For this spread, I'm going to try to scrapbook or journal about these 3 photos. I want to use some materials that my sweet little friend Kimla from California sent me. So there's this purple crepe paper, there's some wallpaper scraps, and then my absolute favorite buy from the week, which is the Eclipse stamps that were just released from the post office on, I think, Tuesday. And they're really cool because they're heat activated, so if you put your thumb or something over them, it will change the color of the moon. So I'm going to use my altered book. This is, in my last video, I kind of gave this the name The Occasional Journal. So I'm just flipping through, trying to find what page I want to work on. And that purple color right there kind of caught me. So I found this page right here that has some purple on it, and I feel like that's going to work. I need some purple when I document what I'm going to document. So in my mind, I'm going to take the paper, and I'm going to do like the bottom half is going to be photos. So that's why I was just using that that doily. I wasn't really using the design of it. I'm just using the shape of it because I just kind of wanted a line, so I knew that's where my photos would go, and then all my art and collage and stuff is going to go above that line. So the photos that I have here are some weird random photos. One of them is a picture of the moon that my daughter took. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We had a full moon a couple weeks ago, and so my daughter took a picture because she thought it was really cool, and she sent it to me. The other 2 pictures, the other one is a picture of my daughter. She was at my house the next night, and so this is just her and my dog. And then the third picture is a picture of a 1970s National Geographic map that I found, gosh, I think it was last weekend, in a sad little basement and it was actually tucked away, and I didn't even realize I had bought it. I just bought this envelope because it had space stuff in it, and then I got it home and I found this map, and so I just was blown away at how beautiful this map is. I think I want to maybe frame it. So anyway, those pictures are going to be at the bottom. Then what I want to do at the top is I want to document these 2 full moons that we had. One was on a Friday night and the other was on a Saturday night. So the cool thing about these moons is that they were just the most beautiful colors of yellow, and then the one on Saturday night was like a really orange color. So when I was looking on how I wanted to represent the moons, I immediately thought of wallpaper, and I had some that was just the right color. So I cut those out into circles, and then I want to back them with that purple crepe paper. The reason why is because the moons that I saw had this unreal, I can't even explain it, purple ring around the moons. It was a dark, dark purple ring around the moon, and then there was the rest of the sky. It was just really cool, and I knew when I saw that, I was like, how can I represent that? So when I was looking for paper, I saw this purple crepe paper, and I thought that would go perfectly on the back of my wallpaper moons. So I just took them over to my sewing machine and stitched them to the crepe paper, which I thought would be easy to tear, but it wasn't. I had to actually cut the crepe paper. And then I'm going to arrange my moons. So the one on Friday night, that's the one on the left. When I saw the moon, it was higher up in the sky, so of course it was smaller, and it was more of a whitish yellow moon. But the one on Saturday night, I had been waiting and watching for it, so I actually caught it as it was coming up the horizon. So it was a very dark moon. The color was like an orangey yellow, and then it was a bigger one because it was closer to the horizon. But now I need to work on my sky, my background. Now I already like the background that I have, but it wasn't the sky that I saw either of those nights. So I'm going to try to represent that. And I could paint, but I don't feel that I want to paint. I think I want to do something else. So I pull out some scraps of tissue paper, and I am using gel medium to apply my tissue paper, which turns out to be a hot mess. Yeah, so gel medium that has sat in your art drawer for about 5 years tends to dry out. So that was my problem with this gel medium. It was just really hard to work with, and I honestly need to just throw it away, but I thought I would use it, try to get the last of it, and then throw it out. So I'm just applying it to my background and then adding some tissue paper. Now the sky was really, really blue. It had a lot of purple tones in it, but the sky was really blue. So that's why I'm using the blue tissue paper. And then I'm using some white tissue paper so that the painted background of my page that was already on there can kind of show through. Then on the other side, I'm going to add some bits of, this is like some really old workbook paper, like it came from a school workbook from a long time ago, and it is so fragile. Pretty much the only thing I can use it for is collage, because it literally just like falls apart in your hand. So I edited a lot of this out because as I was applying it, the fragile paper mixed with the super thick gel medium just wasn't the right combination. But nonetheless, I got some down, and I just put that down to add some interest. I don't want it all to be blue tissue paper. I want to add some other weird stuff in there too. And then I'm going to go ahead and place my bigger moon on there. So as I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm thinking it's not cohesive. It's not coming together. It's looking splotchy, and that's not what I was going for. So what I'm going to do now is try to make it all cohesive. And I'm going to use probably one of my favorite things I've ever bought. And it was just this cheap glitter glue paint. And I got it from Michael's. And I got like the 6-pack. So it was like pink, blue, green, purple, gold, silver. And I love it because it's translucent, but it also has glitter in it. and it just seems to work really well whenever I'm using like skies, or whenever I'm just wanting like a sealant over a page. So I put blue on the left-hand side because the sky was more blue on Friday. And then on Saturday I added some purple because it was a really purple sky whenever I saw the moon that night. And then I'm brushing away some of that on the edge there because I really kind of wanted some of that red tissue paper to show through. And now I'm loving how the whole background has come together. But what I want to do now is I want to represent how I saw the moon coming up off the horizon. So when I saw the moon on Saturday, I was at my house, and I live outside of the city. So there's a lot of trees and there's a lot of houses. And so that's how I saw the moon, as I saw it coming up through the trees and the houses. And so those were just like shadows, like black shadows. So I took some old doily and I just went over them with some, first I did ink, then I went back over it with just some black paint. And I have to tell you, doilies they're beautiful, but oh my gosh, they are the hardest things to work with. I just don't have the patience, and my hands are usually way too sticky. So I love them. I think they're beautiful, but oh my gosh, they give me fits. So I glued this down over the moon, and I want that to kind of represent the trees and the houses that the moon was coming up through. And then I want to balance it out by putting some on the right-hand side. Now, the picture that I have on the right-hand side, my daughter took that, and she was actually in downtown Kansas City. And I love the juxtaposition, I guess, of my version of the moons were out in the country, and then the picture that she sent me was a picture of the moon in the city. And I wanted to keep the street lights and the traffic lights and stuff in her picture visible because I thought that was kind of cool. That was the cool part of her picture, is that the moon was above the city. So then I have these little scraps of some gold doily. And again, I don't even know why I do this. It just makes me crazy, because they don't stick down and they stick to my fingers. But I thought they'd be cool to add some interest. So I just kind of went through and added a few of these little, it was just actually a doily that had been torn up. And so these were just the little parts of it. So I added a few of those. And then there were just some little round pieces. And I thought those kind of looked like stars. So just adding a few of those around. And what you're not seeing is how many times I actually stuck it down on the paper and then picked my finger up and it actually stuck to my finger. So yeah, I kind of edited that part out for you. Okay, so I'm loving the background of this, but now it's time to add some journaling. And I want dark blue or black paper. So I found a book jacket, and it's old, fallen apart, but I love the color. So I'm just tearing it up into strips because I want this to be very random, very organic. And I'm going to write with my white Uniball Signo pen, I think it is. But I wanted to test it first because sometimes that pen is finicky and it doesn't always write on all of the surfaces. So I'm just kind of arranging the blue strips of paper, and then I'm going to glue them down. And then I actually have to stop filming because my journaling is going to be the texts that my daughter sent me. She sends me the craziest texts, and a lot of times I will journal about the texts that she sends me. So this was just a hilarious text that she had sent me with that picture of the moon, and I wanted to document that. So my journaling is actually the words that she sent me, and I just wrote them on those blue strips. And then on the right-hand side, I was just kind of writing what this was. This was the 2 full moons that were in June, and I wrote down the day. It was a Friday and a Saturday. And then I want to stamp the title at the top, and I'm just using those same stamps that I've been using in my garden journal. And somebody asked about those. They are an old stamp set. I want to say American Crafts. I could be wrong on that, but it was the Love Elsie collection. And I want to say it was like when she had these papers, Jack and Abby maybe was the paper line. Anyway, I like them because you can go back and you can, they're just fun and kind of quirky and kind of sloppy, and I love that. And then you can go back and you can fill in with ink, which is what I did. So my title was 2 June Moons. Then I pulled out my fabulous postage stamp of the eclipse and stuck that on there, and I have 32 of those stamps, so I'm going to be using quite a few of those in my journaling coming up in the next few months up to the eclipse, because we're actually in Kansas City. We're in the bullseye. We're just south of where it's going to be 100%. So it's kind of a big deal here in Kansas City. And then the package that I bought that poster in had these glow-in-the-dark stickers. They're old. I'm assuming they're from 1970s also. So I wanted to stick those on there. I just thought that would be kind of cool. You can't really see them too much, and I don't know. I'm going to have to turn off the lights one night and see if they actually do glow in the dark. But they were so hard to get off of that sheet. You had to actually pull them off and then cut them. But I thought they were kind of cool. They just added a little bit of interest. So that's what I'm doing here, is just sticking some of those glow-in-the-dark stars and moons over the page to add some interest. And then I'm done, and I love how it turned out. The blue and purple mixed with the gold and the white is spot on. That is exactly what I was going for. And then the white ink really pops. And then my favorite part is that picture that my daughter sent me. The picture of the moon, how it just glows and pops off the page is awesome. So guys, thanks for hanging out with me. If you like this, give me a thumbs up or subscribe. And I would love it if you guys have a beautiful day. Thank you. Bye.